Well, they call Glenn Hughes the voice of rock for good reason. His resume reads like a playlist of the very best of British music from the 70s right up to present day. Best known for playing bass and performing vocals for the legendary band Deep Purple, Glenn last played with Deep Purple back in March of 1976. That's when he walked away from one of history's truly game-changing rock phenomena and never looked back until now. Well, 41 years on, Glenn's about to do Deep Purple's all-time greatest hits one more time right around Australia. I'm very excited to have Glenn on the phone with me now from his home in LA. I read recently and treated all the fans there to an up-close and personal evening with you.
Well, it was something that, you know, I got approached by a promoter in my hometown, and I've never really played my hometown for 40 years, and I thought it would be appropriate to go back and do a storyteller night, and because I have my book, did really well in Europe, and I just thought it would be a nice way to go home, and it was televised as well, so it was it was a really great evening for many people that I hadn't seen in a while, and the TV crew were getting people together that I hadn't seen in a while, so it was a nice night.
So you're now about to head down to Australia again. This is the second time in just a few months, because you were here with the music of Cream a few months ago. I remember seeing you back in Sunbury in 1975, which was a pretty awesome visit.
For me, it was a memorable experience. That was my first time ever in Australia, so I really remember it as a great moment.
You were 20 when you first started playing with Deep Purple, and all that fame and adoration that followed you as a result. Was that hard to handle?
Well, I'd been on the road with my band Trapeze for 4 years, and I'd built an audience from playing to 5 people a night to 10,000 people at the middle of. In May of '73, when I left the band, we were doing 10,000 seats a night in some areas in America. So I was like working my way up to the next level, if you will. And Purple was the top of the game that year, so I was very fortunate to be part of that setup and to be asked to join by Richie and John, so it was really a great moment for me.
So you must have learnt an awful lot since those days. I guess life has changed incredibly.
You got to believe this. I've learned. I've got the T-shirt. I've won the award for most knowledgeable of what to do and what not to do, and it really it's a matter of just breathing right and being on time and just carrying the message. And I have a very big message. Mine is love, L-O-V-E. I carry that within my performance about breathing. It's really important for me to do what I do and to warm up and to get in character, if you will. It's something that I do, and long may that continue.
So this bad boy of rock image that we see is not really the Glenn Hughes that lives and breathes and works out hard.
Oh, the bad boy image probably was, when I was maybe out of control on the drugs and alcohol, but I was never really a bad boy. As far as I never missed a show. I never, messed up an album, and so the bad boy image probably was heralded by the press.
How would you describe who you are? I read somewhere else, I've been doing a fair bit of reading about you, that you live a very clean life these days.
I do. I'm vegan, and I haven't drank and done any drugs in a couple of 3 decades. And what my life story isn't just about the guy I was in the 80s, and I don't remember the 1980s, by the way. I really honestly don't. I'm not being it's not something that I say with candor. It's a period where I don't remember. So when I got sober in 1991, the game changed. Those around me were telling me that I'd go on to have more success, and I'd go on to write better music, and I'd go on to win more awards. And I said, that's impossible. I think I had them all. So a lot of people, I proved myself, wrong. I went on to do those things, and I'm still here doing what I do. And I'm now embracing the legacy of Deep Purple. I've never in my entire life since 1976 done a complete Deep Purple show. As a performer and writer of those songs and singer, when you're writing them and you huddle together in a dungeon at a 13th century castle in England, and you're writing these pieces of music, and when you're in the middle of it, and you're gonna record them, you have no idea of what the world is gonna think. You're just in there writing them and recording them and doing what you do. And of course, when the albums come out and they're successful, it's a very, very difficult situation, because you've got to accept the fact that these songs are now the audience songs. They now belong to the audience. They're their songs. You know, when people sing these songs with me in concert, they're singing songs that they are their own, you know. So I give my songs back to the audience freely. I'm very happy to be, I feel that I can be an audience member, and I want the audience to feel that they can be me. And that's the beauty of what I think I have in concert, is to connect with an audience of fans that want to get a little bit closer to me in the spiritual sense. And I hope I can give that message back.
So you don't have to be out of it or fueled on alcohol to enjoy this music anymore? You got to know this, right? I hang around with a lot of very famous rock stars that are sober, who back in the day were not sober and made a lot of very big records. And when we got sober, me and my friends, and you know who these people are, I can't name the names, but you know who they are. We asked ourselves, how the hell am I going to do this sober? How am I going to play these mighty riffs sober? And trust me, we've all said it to ourselves. We've all asked each other these same questions. But I don't think we were born to be totally messed up and to write songs. I think it's our duty to become, on the page, clean and sober, and to play these songs appropriately. I could never play these songs drunk or loaded. It's impossible. I think when I got sober all those years ago, I think it was the right time for me to do that. And remember now, I've been given a gift. I didn't realize about that gift. And that gift is the voice, the way I write, the way I feel, the way I look, and the way I act, and long may that continue. So would you do it differently if you had your time all over again?
Wouldn't. And I've had a heart attack. I've been shot at. I've been pistol whipped. I've been stabbed. I've been run over in a car. All of those things I've just mentioned to you that are in my book, I have to do, if you will, that's the karmic aspect of my life. I'm still standing. I'm still doing what I'm doing. I'm still the guy. Now I know what my meaning is and the gift. I'm giving that. The purpose is to give it back. Remember now, half the people I knew in the 70s are no longer here. They passed away. I'm one of the fortunate ones that's still carrying the message and still delivering what my fans want. And long may that continue.
Yeah, indeed. So what are we going to see on this tour, Glenn?
You're going to hear the songs I selected from Burn, Stormbringer, and Come Taste the Band, plus a couple of the hits I did with Purple, with David Coverdale, and Richie and John and Ian, like maybe a Highway Star. You're going to hear a couple of those, but primarily you're going to hear songs that I wrote or recorded. And these songs are songs I think Australia will embrace if they're rock fans from the 70s.
Just a quick word about the hand-picked band that you've chosen to join you on this.
An astonishing band. I must say that the keyboard player from Sydney, Lockie Doley, an Australian guy, hands down the greatest keyboard player alive today. And yes, he's an Australian. And I've known Lockie since I worked with Jimmy Barnes 10 years ago. Jimmy's a good friend of mine, and I said to Jimmy, who's that crazy keyboard player you've got? He said, it's Lockie. And introduced me to Lockie, and Lockie came on board with me 10 years ago to start working. And he did my last album in Europe last year. So he's playing keyboards on guitar. Jeff Coleman from Los Angeles. He's been playing with me on and off for the last 15 years. Extraordinarily virtuoso guitar player. On drums, my drummer for the last 10 years. An incredible, big dude from Sweden, Pontus Engborg. A man-made mountain of a dude that is an incredible drummer. So I handpicked this band to do this tour. And we're coming full speed ahead soon.
Excellent. We look forward to seeing you all over Australia very soon. Glenn Hughes, thank you so much for your time today. Great talking.
You're welcome, and I love you, Perth, and I look forward to seeing you and embracing the love. And come down and see me because I'm going to give it to you.